So hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Giant Views, a video series we do on the ground at different conferences. Today I'm in Indianapolis at the Independent Professional Seed Association's 33rd annual conference. And joining me today is Chris Cornelius, who is the executive assistant at Cornelius Seed, as well as, and I can only say this for a couple more hours, she's upcoming IPSA president. Tomorrow she will take over the gavel and be president for the 2022 to 2023 term. So Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. And I wanted to start just by asking you, it's our first conference in 2 years. So what are you most excited about for this conference?
So excited to see people and be in the same room as our friends and our peers and share stories and share laughter and hugs. We're a tight-knit group. We love each other's company, and it's been a long 2 years. You can do phone calls and emails and texts, but it's not the same as sharing a space and a safe distance space, but sharing a space and just enjoying each other's company again. So it's great.
Fantastic. Now, we've been through a whole day's worth of sessions. Yes. We have another whole day's worth of sessions tomorrow. So in preparation, what has been your favorite so far?
I enjoyed Dr. Vikram. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name with an M.
Yes.
It was interesting to get the global insights, and I loved the format in which he delivered his message this morning. It was relaxed. People were just listened, and I think it was really good. There have been some exceptional breakouts this afternoon, or this morning and this afternoon as well. And it's always fun to hear conversations in the hall about, oh my gosh, this one was so good, and I want to go to 3, and they're all at the same time, and how do I fix that? And so that's always a challenge for the annual conference committee to try and figure out how to make those breakouts duplicated or something so people can get to as many as they possibly can.
No, I completely understand. I agree though. Dr. Vikram was amazing this morning. He gave me so many more things to think about in terms of ag trends that I hadn't even thought about. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure every single IPSA member walked away saying the same thing.
I agree.
I know we've talked previously about how you really enjoy the planning side of the conference.
Yes.
For those of you that haven't, if you read our lovely interview with Chris Cornelius in our January Seed World, she talks about this. But what is something you have been hoping in the planning process that the members can take away and hopefully talk about when they get back home?
Yeah. I think one of the cool things about this conference is it's a meeting planned for the members by the members. And we have some very valuable associate members and affiliate members that sit on that committee as well. So you get insight from 3 different facets, which is amazing. And the connections that people have and how they can say, oh, this person would be good, this person would be good for the breakout sessions, this keynote speaker would be good. So as far, my favorite part of this is actionable items you can take home. And one of the speakers this afternoon said, they're like, seriously, folks, you can go home and do this tomorrow. You don't need to plan a lot. Just go home and do this. And that's the best thing about IPSA. It's like it's boots on the ground. It's common sense stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? But it could be a difference maker in our businesses. And so that's what's awesome about this.
Well, and sometimes I feel like we have often talked about the collaborativeness of IPSA. And sometimes I feel like that's what this meeting is really good for, because you have those moments of, why didn't I think about that? Right. But when someone else explained it, it seems so easy.
Right. And, a lot of us we're all independents, fiercely competitive, but man, we want each other's best interest. We want each of us to do the best we can. And so I've got a couple of close associates I'll call and say, what are you doing in this situation? And, you don't name names, you're just setting up a situation and everybody gets it. And you can just share information. It's like, of course, or thank you so much. And, we've been able to share some information conversely too. So it's awesome.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. So like I said, tomorrow you get your gavel, you get the nice fanfare, but as you look to your next year in IPSA taking over after Tim Green, what's kind of top of mind? What do you have as a priority of something you'd like to tackle?
Sure. Well, just now we talked about in the Washington Forum panel, we talked about an EPA ruling that they're entertaining, and so we have to be on top of that to make sure that the Corn Belt is covered and taken care of. And so that's a big project, and we've got some people in place to handle that. We've got Laura Peterson and Todd Martin, who they're awesome at handling that kind of stuff. And then they always get feedback from the board as well. On a smaller scale, Kat Ballard, who's executive director, talked this morning about some goals that she had for IPSA and improving member services. And one of our members came to me this afternoon and said, wouldn't it be great if IPSA could build a library of like mid-management webinars or mid-management training things that we wouldn't have to send our people off necessarily, but we could bring that webinar or that replay to our office and just all pile in the learning center and present it to our team right then and there. And it would be great if that could, all of those different pieces and parts of management could be gathered together in a library. So I would say that's really fresh, that's really new. Haven't talked to anybody about it except you. So we'll see what they say.
But that would be so exciting, and that would be so helpful, I'm sure, for members to have this kind of leadership webinar accessible library to be able to work through. And if they have any questions of saying, oh, I'm really struggling with employee retention, what can I do? They have it right there in front of them. Exactly. And it might not be the cookie cutter solution for them, but it could be some good advice.
Right, exactly. They can, and even the leadership team could review it and like even pick pieces and parts out of it, then to deliver to their own team. There's a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah. Well, I know one of the other things we talked about was the importance of IPSA having this unified message. And they mentioned very briefly this morning in the general session that that's something IPSA has been working on. And in particular, y'all are releasing an electronic copy of kind of a message for members to take home to think of whenever someone gives them a call and asks them about IPSA. So can you kind of tell me a little bit about that and what some of the message that you're trying to get across is?
Sure. It's a little bit of it's a one-pager document, and we actually have two versions. We have a one-pager it's in paragraph form, and then we have a Cliff Notes version, which is more bullet points. So it's and they're both exceptional. It's just however your mind works. But it talks about who we are, a little bit of our history, how we work together, how we want the best of each other, and then, the competition piece and the collaborative piece. And it's just it's all in sentences and sound bites. So if someone like Alex Martin says, so tell me about IPSA, you can pull out that piece of paper and say, this is who we are. This is what we believe. This is who we want to be going forward. And I think it'll just be a comfort piece for people who maybe aren't as well versed about IPSA. And so we're really looking forward to launching that. It's well done, and it'll be great. It'll be great.
That sounds absolutely fantastic, especially because you mentioned that it also highlights the kind of history of IPSA, which I'm sure would be beneficial for new members coming on board. That way they don't have to wonder, what do I need to say? And I haven't been here that long.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it was interesting this afternoon, Chet Boroff got a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he was actually like on the ground level with this with Chan Sieben, and Chan's like, we've got to do something. And Chan is the man who started IPSA. So it's really cool to get all that back history.
I definitely agree, especially with I think he did a quote saying something like, if you see it, but you don't do anything, then it's not going to get done. But if you see it and you do something,
forge forward.
Forge forward. So that's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for joining me. That was a fantastic conversation. And to all of you, I hope this information was lovely and of value. And we'll stay tuned for more information from the independent seed sector. So we hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.